Hello again, and welcome back. Today we explore the famous last words of some notorious American criminals just before their death sentence was carried out. Make sure you stick around to the end to see the last, and most bizarre one ever. First on our list is John Wayne Gacy, the killer clown. Gacy's dark side emerged when he began dressing as a clown named Pogo for children's parties. Unknown to the community, he was also abducting, assaulting, and murdering young men. Between 1972 and 1978, Gacy killed at least 33 young men and boys, burying most of them in a crawlspace beneath his house. He was found guilty and sentenced to death. Before his execution by lethal injection in 1984, Gacy's chilling last words were, "Kiss my ass." This was a cold farewell from a cold-blooded killer. Then there was Aileen WUORNOS, America's first known female serial killer. She was born in 1956, and by her teenage years, she was living on the streets and engaging in prostitution to survive. Between 1989 and 1990, Aileen murdered several men in Florida. In 1991, Aileen was captured and later convicted of 6 murders. She was executed by lethal injection in 2002. Her final words were, "I'd just like to say, I'm sailing with a rock, and I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus, June 6th. Like the movie, big mothership and all, I'll be back." Obviously, this was a bizarre and cryptic message from a troubled soul. Next is Gary Gilmore, born in 1940. He had a troubled upbringing with a volatile father and a history of petty crime. He spent much of his life in and out of prison. In 1976, Gilmore committed 2 cold-blooded murders in Utah, killing a gas station attendant and a motel manager. He was quickly captured, confessed to the murders, and demanded the death penalty. In 1977, Gary Gilmore became the first person in many years to be executed in the United States by firing squad. His last words were simply, "Let's do it." A phrase that later inspired Nike's famous slogan, "Just do it." And speaking of do it, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe buttons. Go on, just do it. Next on this crazy list is the famous case of Ted Bundy. Born in 1946, Bundy grew up in a seemingly normal environment. In the 1970s, he began a terrifying killing spree across multiple states by using his charm and good looks. Bundy was finally arrested in 1978 and confessed to over 30 murders before his execution by electric chair in 1989. His last words were, "I'd like you to give my love to my family and friends." This was a surprisingly tender sentiment from a man who caused so much pain and suffering to so many others. Then there's Bloody Babs, also known as Barbara Graham. She was born in 1923, and her life was filled with hardship and crime. In 1953, Graham, along with 2 accomplices, were convicted of the brutal murder of Mabel Monahan, a wealthy widow in Burbank, California. Despite her claims of innocence, she was found guilty of murder and sentenced to death. In 1955, she was executed in the gas chamber in California. Her last words were, "Good people are always so sure they're right." A very thought-provoking statement that leaves us questioning the certainty of our own beliefs. There are several others that are worth mentioning. One is an older execution with dark and humorous last words, George Oppel. In 1928, he was convicted of first-degree murder and sentenced to death by electrocution. On the day of his execution, August 9, 1929, he looked around the room and uttered his famous last words, "Well, gentlemen, you're about to see a baked apple." The room fell silent, and the execution proceeded. George Oppel's final words became a part of history, a dark, humorous phrase that would be remembered long after his death. For a morbid play on words, we go to the execution of James French. James committed murder and was sentenced to life in prison, where he killed his cellmate. On August 10, 1966, as he sat in the electric chair, he uttered his famous last words. "How's this for your headline? French fries." a morbid play on words that have been remembered for decades. Our last execution on this bizarre list is Robert Alton Harris. In 1978, he committed a brutal double murder and sentenced to death. On April 21, 1992, Robert Alton Harris met his fate in the gas chamber. He quoted a line from the movie Bill and Ted's in his final moments.
You might be a king or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you dance with the Reaper.
This is a pop culture reference that highlights the inevitability of death for all. These last words provide a unique insight into the minds of some of America's most infamous criminals as they face their final moments. They range from cold and defiant to darkly humorous and thought-provoking. We hope you found this both fascinating and chilling, and we hope you like and subscribe for more captivating content. Until next time, take care.